Hurry up there, come on. Morning, Chief.
Morning, madam.
Have you any idea where the Deputy Governor is?
I believe Mr. Radley's with the Works officer, madam.
Oh, well, if you see him, will you ask him to come to my office? Oh, Mrs. Armitage. The uniformed staff have been complaining about the amount of time spent in escorting work parties.
Wastes hours every day.
Perhaps if the doors were unlocked promptly and work details passed through, there'd be less resentment, both from the women and the officers.
Very good, madam. Get on with it, you two. You're supposed to be working.
Come on, Nora.
Not too much mail today.
Don't sound so disappointed, Mr. Morton. We've quite enough to catch up with as it is.
Yes, it's never ending. New admissions, remands, letters, requests, accounts. I could do with twice as many staff on the clerical side.
Well, you're not likely to get any more just yet. The whole prison service is understaffed.
That's very true, Governor. The chief was,
Yes? Oh, do sit down.
She was complaining of the difficulty of keeping the uniform side up to strength. She feels they'll soon be outnumbered by nurses and welfare officers.
I'm not sure that would be such a bad thing. Though I'm aware Mrs. Armitage doesn't agree with me.
And she's not the only one, Governor. The main function of a prison is to keep its inmates safely in custody in disciplined conditions. And for that, the uniform staff are largely responsible.
The main function of this prison is to help. To give a chance to the women to lead more useful lives outside, and for that, we're all responsible.
Of course, yes.
No, leave that one. I'll write to her myself. Come in.
Good morning, Governor.
Morning, Mr. Radley.
You wanted to see me?
I hope I haven't dragged you away from anything.
Oh, no, not really. The works officer is a bit worried about the fabric of South Wing.
Oh, hi.
It's the oldest part of the building, and
Apparently the ground has settled slightly over the last 100 years, and one of the outside walls shows signs of buckling.
Is it dangerous?
No, not at all. But it should be reinforced if we want it to stand for another 100 years.
I should think that's the last thing we want. I sincerely hope that all these Victorian monstrosities will disappear by then. With any luck, there'll be a whole new concept of what a prison should be.
With any luck.
Oh, do sit down.
Oh.
I'd like you to stay, Mr. Morton. This concerns the clerical side as well. I was at a meeting at the Home Office last night, and it appears that we have been allocated a sum of money. Some thousands, in fact. And I've been asked to recommend how it should be spent. Well, since I've only been at Stone Park a short time, I thought I'd like to find out the ideas of the rest of the staff before I made my decisions.
I see.
Well, there are so many things. I have a list here already made out.
Well,
of the
we can list them in
important
order of
items, which I-
usefulness and preference.
We could have a series of meetings with the various departments, Governor.
No, that would take too long. I'd like to make up my mind before someone at the Home Office decides it for me.
Yes, of course.
I suggest that each department discusses it over the next few days, and then we could have one meeting with the senior members and the assistant governors.
Well, that should weed out the more frivolous suggestions.
Well, I expect we'll get a few of those anyway. Would you like to get things moving, Mr. Radley?
Certainly, Governor.
Good. Well, if you'll excuse us, we must start on my rounds.
Well, I have to think of my staff, Miss Parrish.
Oh, naturally.
Point in their having special training if they're only expected to act as doorkeepers.
Oh, it's all part of the new attitude, Chief. Just something we have to live with.
What I resent is the implication that everything we've done before is wrong. There's enough demands made on the staff as it is.
On the other hand, if movement between areas could be speeded up, it would be a good thing. It so often happens what seems to be the simple solution is not the practical one.
That's something you can only learn by experience.
Exactly. And I'm afraid the new governor's full of excellent theories which have very little chance of working in present conditions.
I just wonder how much harm is going to be done before she realises it. At least Mr. Radley knows what's possible and what isn't, though he supports her.
Oh, we all support it because we must.
Yeah.
As for Mr. Radley, I am strongly against a man being appointed deputy. No matter how much experience he has, he can never understand the special problems of a women's prison.
This part of the prison always depresses me. Something barbaric about that wire mesh and these catwalks.
Yeah, I suppose so. I've got so used to them, I take them for granted.
I don't think we should, Mr. Radley.
Good morning, Governor.
Miss Parrish, everything all right?
Perfectly.
I hardly needed to ask. South Wing is the only one where there are seldom any problems.
Thank you, Governor.
Actually, I meant to talk to you later on, but Mr. Radley can tell you what it's all about.
Don't you want me to come with you?
No, I'd rather you got started on this other business. After you told Miss Parrish, perhaps you could see the works officer and then the chaplain.
Certainly.
Chief will come on my rounds with me. We'll start at North Wing.
Very good, madam.
Hello, Peggy. Aren't you working? Why not?
Not been given no work, lady.
You haven't. Miss Flaxton?
Yes, madam.
Why isn't Peggy out at working?
Well, that was my recommendation, madam. The girl had just come out of solitary. I thought it better to give her a day or two to adjust.
I see. Is the assistant governor in the office?
Yes, ma'am.
Morning, Miss Harker.
Oh, morning,
I've
Governor.
just seen Peggy out outside her cell. Why isn't she working?
There was a suggestion.
I know that she be given time to adjust from solitary. Surely that's not necessary.
When a woman is released from solitary, it is customary to keep an eye on her for a while, to see if she's learned her lesson.
Has she been told where she's to work?
No, Governor.
I don't understand this, Miss Harker. I promised Peggy Abbott that she should be assigned to the maternity hospital.
Well, there is great competition to work there, and since she was convicted of persistent child neglect,
You thought it might cause resentment? Or perhaps someone convinced you it would?
I advise Miss Harker, madam.
That girl has been deserted by her husband and left with 2 small children. Her neglect comes from a total inability to cope. In prison, she's withdrawn and violent because others have convinced her that she's a bad mother.
Yes.
Her only chance to get over her guilt and have her children back with her again is to teach her how to take care of them properly. We must give her that chance.
Yes, of course.
I accept full responsibility, madam. In my opinion, her release from confinement and being given privileged work will only undermine discipline.
Well, I can't say that either of you disobeyed me because it was merely a suggestion, but I spoke to the sister in charge 2 days ago, and I want that girl taken there now.
Very good, madam.
I'm rather disappointed, Miss Harker.
Oh, I'm sorry, Governor. I let myself be persuaded. Oh, that's no excuse.